If you're absolutely killing it on paper, but you feel permanently tired, wired, or on edge, I want you to listen closely, because burnout doesn't usually look like falling apart. It looks like still performing, still delivering, still showing up, just with less energy, less patience, less joy, and a nervous system that never really switches off. And if you're a founder, business owner, leader, or operator, chances are you've been normalizing that feeling way more than you should have. But before we go any further, if you haven't already watched my video on the early warning signs of burnout for high performers, I'll link that below. This video builds directly on that one. So here's the truth most high performers don't want to hear. You're probably not burnt out because you're weak. In fact, you're not unmotivated. You're not even bad at habits. You're burnt out because you're running on an operating system that was built for a completely different version of your life. Most successful people build their habits during grind mode. Early mornings, long days, push through, eat later, sleep when you're done, train hard because it feels productive, ignore signals because results matter more. That operating system works for a while. It works when the pressure is low, when the stakes are smaller, when the consequences of poor recovery don't compound. But then the business grows. The responsibility grows, the decision load explodes, the number of people relying on you increases, and the habits don't update. So instead of upgrading the system, most people do the only thing they know how to do. They push harder. And that's when burnout begins. Not dramatically, not overnight, quietly. Now, this is important, because burnout for high performers, it doesn't look like lying on the couch unable to function. It looks like waking up tired, even after sleeping, relying on caffeine to think clearly, skipping meals without even meaning to, training hard but recovering poorly, being constantly on and totally reachable, feeling flat, snappy, or impatient, or even just telling yourself, this is just the season. And none of those things stop output immediately. And that's why they're so dangerous. High performers don't collapse. They erode. A little less energy here, a little less tolerance there, a little more effort required for the same results, until one day, everything feels heavy. Now, I can't tell you how many business owners I've worked with who say the exact same sentence. It's just the season I'm in, yeah? And sometimes that's true, but if every season feels like survival, it's not a season, it's your system. Now, I work with a business owner who had basically been in a busy season for 4 years. Right? Revenue was up, team was growing. Externally, everything looked like success. Internally, they're exhausted. Breakfast was optional. Lunch was rushed or skipped. Coffee started the day and carried it. Training was either all in or non-existent. Sleep happened, but it never felt restorative. Now, they weren't failing. They were slowly draining themselves. And because nothing had crashed yet, they kept going. And that's the trap. High performers are excellent at tolerating discomfort. That's actually why they succeed. They push through signals that would stop other people. They override fatigue. They ignore hunger. They power through stress. Now, in the short term, that works. But in the long term, it creates a massive blind spot, because your body does not care how capable you are. It responds to load, fuel, stress, and recovery. Ignore those inputs long enough and the system, well, it'll force a correction eventually. And the earlier you intervene, the easier that correction is. One of the earliest warning signs I see is reliance on stimulants to feel functional. Coffee first thing, sometimes before food. Sometimes, instead of food, actually. Energy drinks, pre-workout on non-training days. Sugar hits to push through the afternoon. And people say things like, oh, I just need one to get started, or I don't function without coffee, or I'm fine once I've had caffeine. If your baseline energy requires stimulation to exist, your system is already overloaded. Stimulants don't create energy, right? They mask fatigue. They borrow alertness from later, and that borrowing always comes with interest. Anxiety, poor sleep, gut issues, inflammation, mood swings, afternoon crashes. This isn't a caffeine problem. It's an under-recovery problem. Now, I go deep on this in the next video in this series because caffeine is not a strategy for high performers. If coffee or energy drinks are holding your day together, make sure you watch that one next. Now, most high performers don't skip meals intentionally. They just forget. Meetings roll over lunch, hunger gets ignored, coffee fills the gaps. There's always later. And culturally, this gets praised. Looks like discipline, looks like focus, looks like commitment. Physiologically, it's a mess. Skipping meals spikes cortisol, blood sugar drops, decision fatigue skyrockets. By the end of the day, cravings hit hard. Night snacking appears. Alcohol feels way more appealing. Patience, it disappears. Now, people blame willpower, but this isn't a willpower failure. It's a fueling failure. And your body will always collect what you owe it. Now, I've got a full video coming up in this series breaking down why skipping meals during the day almost guarantees nighttime chaos and poor recovery. And if you've ever said, oh, I eat fine all day and then lose control at night, that one is for you. Now, high performers tend to swing between two extremes with exercise. They either train like maniacs because it feels productive, or they stop completely because there's no time. Now, both are signs the system is out of balance. Movement is meant to regulate stress, not add to it. And when life stress is high and recovery is low, smashing workouts becomes another hit to the nervous system. Performance drops, motivation disappears, injuries creep in, and instead of adjusting load, people either quit or push harder. Now, neither fixes the problem. Now, I'll be breaking this down properly in the training and recovery episode because training hard will not save you if you're not recovering. Now, this one is dangerous because it's easy to dismiss. You fall asleep, you stay asleep, you get enough hours, yeah? But you wake up feeling tired. That's not normal. That's shallow recovery, a nervous system that never fully powers down, right? Stress hormones still running the show, late stimulation, underfueling, no real transition from work mode to rest. Sleep quantity without sleep quality does not restore capacity. It just keeps you functioning. Now, I've already got videos on this channel about why you can feel exhausted even when you're sleeping, and this ties directly into that. Please make sure you go and watch that one as well. Burnout. It's not a motivation problem. It's a systems problem. And systems can be updated, right? The fix is not slowing down, the fix is supporting output. When food is consistent, energy stabilizes. When movement is smart, stress drops. When stress is protected and sleep is protected, focus returns. When boundaries exist, leadership improves. Now, this is the work I do every day with business owners inside the Mojo Dojo. Not to make them do less, but to help them stop quietly wrecking themselves while building something meaningful. Now, if this video hit a nerve, don't ignore that. Burnout doesn't show up all at once, and fixing it doesn't require blowing up your whole life. Watch the caffeine video next, then the skipping meals one, and then the training and recovery episode. They're designed to be watched together because burnout never just has one cause. You're not broken. Your system is just outdated, and updating it changes everything.